It's from the relationship concept of how to make it work, probably from a sexual standpoint. Now, I always ask myself, what is the ground level? What do we have to start to build with? And if everybody's not wealthy, then we have to take that off the board.
Right.
But if it's like sexuality or being sexual, then that's a good place to start. So with these three powerful brains together joining in a unit, I think that is, when you talk about sex, it proves that you got a different variety of individuals. We got different age groups here. I'm like the most senior person around here.
I ain't that far behind you, Dad.
I'm like the most senior individual. So, but I think we got an interesting dynamic, and hopefully everybody can get a chance to enjoy themselves and learn something from somebody on this panel. And sometimes you click with one person, and if that's good enough for somebody to click with that one person, then that is what that is.
Right.
So we'll start with a concept that we was using earlier, and we was talking about when a guy, I guess, is hypnotized by what we call, I guess the polite word is when it's like the bomb, or they call it a kill.
That killer.
So that is something that's used sometimes to hypnotize a man, but every woman, in my opinion, and maybe other people's opinion, don't have that.
True.
So I don't know if there's anything that a woman can do to produce the kill, or is it just like talent? Either you got it or you don't.
Right.
Or can she somewhat keep herself, I guess, reserved over time, which means she's not interacting with multiple men? Can she save herself from a sexual standpoint to keep her body tight? Or and the moisture possibly can come from natural juices, but also having a automatic excitement for a man that she's been interested in, right? So maybe it's something that builds over time, and she's fascinated by a guy, and her body is telling her it's time, he's the one. And so as all of that stuff comes together, maybe it can make one type of, what do they call it, combustion, and it could be like a Big Bang Theory, and all of a sudden we have ourselves a super romantic sexual experience.
Or connection.
Or connection. So what do y'all think?
I do think that when you're definitely attracted to an individual, it can cause you to feel that and embrace that vibration more,
Okay.
I feel like it plays a big part, and that can make the connection of the sexual experience even greater.
Better, yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like every woman is different in their body makeup. So some women are more moisturized down there. Some women are dry. So, I've heard, men say like, girls are like super dry. You know what I mean? And it's like, they're like, I shouldn't have to do all this extra stuff to get you going. You know what I mean? But, some girls are just not blessed with the sauce. That's what
Or the moisture.
I just figure she's not attracted to the guy.
And I don't, believe that. Like, she says something real deep. You also had some viewpoints or whatever. And, first and foremost, with a lot of people, we already know that people are, physically with the eye attraction. Right. But then, when it's that first notion of when a person speaks or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and then they start speaking, and you be like, oh, okay, wow, I didn't expect that from that person.
Right.
So when you dating or whatever, and that's how the numbers get, hey, can I get your number? And I don't like the cool. When guys be like, you know what I'm saying, cool with, hey mama, can I get your number?
Yeah,
hey,
like
what's up with you? You know what I'm saying? That demeanor or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's a turn off. And so, you know, I'm not attracted to guys or whatever that come at me aggressively. You know what I'm saying? I like to be the aggressor or whatever, and I like the stimulation with the voice in the conversation. Once you can intrigue me and wheel me in with your conversation and see where your mind is, I'm already getting moist. You know what I'm saying? With that conversation, like stimulate my mind, Craig. And you hear a lot of people talking about, you know, the stimulation of the mind or whatever. And once a person can do phone sex, if you ain't even gotta meet a person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Niggas done jacked off by voices. Women done jacked off. You got all these 900 numbers or whatever. Call me up and they can do certain things or whatever. And that's what gets it popping. But actually having that intertwined, I'm gonna stop because I want to see what the rest of, you know, my people want to say about that or whatever. I've heard people say to me, once that connection is met, see with me, because I can save myself or whatever, and I play this little game with men. How long can you go without laying down or sticking, you know what I'm saying, your private part inside of me, you know what I'm saying, before actually you'll be ghost and be like, yeah, she ain't give it up nothing. So, or is it gonna be something that I've said or whatever even before you touch my body and I'm done?
I just feel like I do agree with you. I think a lot of women want that mental stimulation. But men are physical. So at the end of the day, it's like they're gonna still want something in return. They're not gonna give you all that mind intellect without getting something. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Like you said, men always are gonna want that stimulation, even that physical or whatever. So why should we or whatever, just because we already know or whatever, or is there some type of self-esteem about us to be like, let me go ahead and give them the pussy or whatever, you know what I'm saying, because I know they're going to go do this, that, and the other. See, I feel as though, you know what I'm saying, the longer you make a person, and I'm strictly dickly, the longer you make a person wait or whatever, they intrigued by that because you willing a man or whatever. You feel me? How do you feel about that, Maurice?
Yeah. You can go ahead.
So, what they call like the 90 days or the
90-day rule,
or 90-day rule or the waiting game.
60-day rule.
If I think if there is a continuous, like I say, combustion of intrigue, you know, like almost like a car that backfires, boom, that can wake a neighborhood up. So if the connection between the two people is like that type of a thing, I think inside of that connection or that relationship, however that relationship is functioning, I think it can go and it can work. But if they are not on the same page, which means he doesn't agree with that technique or she doesn't agree with his philosophy and the way that he does things, it could be some confusion. Now, dialogue is something that would be great to always be able to have. But then it kicks in the word spontaneity. The spontaneity, I think, is what can make a relationship go longer. To be in a situation where we don't have to discuss all of this stuff, I's dotted, T's crossed, let's just get to it. You know what I mean? And it's okay, as opposed to some people who are horrified because their past has been drenched with negative situations and they can't get all those ghosts or goblins out of their closets and stuff like that, so it contaminates the new thing they're trying to build. And unfortunately, for some females who have been molested or who have been touched illegally as kids by somebody,
it poses a problem.
And so now this new person is, you know, say for instance you guys are cooking, and he comes up behind you and wraps his arms around you. Now that terrifies you because your uncle did that. You know,
it's
you
a
might
trigger.
you might jump back, and then now he jumps back, and it creates an awkward moment
Right.
that you didn't want because this is not the person that did that, but because the mind is not able to
Wow,
relax
that's deep.
That's it.
psychologically, that it continues to be a problem.
Yeah.
And this is why sometimes maybe relationships don't have an opportunity to fully develop and flourish, is because of this hesitancy.
And the trauma that's went on in their lives.
Yeah.
So my question becomes again, when I say relationships don't work, how is it possible if all of these nightmares, if all of these triggers, whether they're conscious or unconscious, can arise, almost like dust or something off the ground? It's tough because a lot of men, I don't know if, I'm sure there are guys, for the people that would say, I know a guy who's been molested, who's been such and such. I get it. But if there's been more women affected by it, then we have to deal with that. That has to be discussed. So this might be a part of the training, what you're talking about, the patience. For a man that really is intrigued by a woman, he should be interested in listening to the woes that she has. But it not be a thing where she's trying to baptize him in the history of her man collection.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. I'm sorry, sweetie. When you said that the baptism of, her past experiences in life with certain people, so would that not be the dialogue or whatever of you getting a nerve or whatever? And maybe, the man doesn't want to hear that, but we want to know people and so on and so forth and what traumatizes us, what triggers them. I know for myself or whatever, I am a person I'm cut clean, I'm going to give you my story. If you ask me a question or whatever, I'm going to tell you, and if you don't ask me, I'm going to volunteer and tell you where I've been and who I've been with. I want to know who all the fuck you didn't fuck. You know what I'm saying?
But I just think with women, we are more verbal and vocal.
Okay.
And we want to express more. With men, they are taught to hold shit in. You know what I'm saying? They are taught to, it's not a manly thing to be emotional. It's not a manly thing to really let it all out and talk about
and
it. Which is sad and unfortunate because a lot of men hold stuff in and they think like, oh, if I let it out, if I talk about it, I'm soft. I'm not, I'm not a man. I have to hold it in. I have to, but they're hurting or they need to release that or they need to talk about what traumas happen in their lives, And one thing is, I know a lot of black people don't believe in therapy, but I think therapy is awesome. But, blacks, we don't believe in therapy. We think like, oh, we don't need no therapist. But we do because we are big on sweeping stuff under the rug.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? We come from a culture of,
sweeping it up under the rug, don't tell it.
Uncle Joe, he touched you, okay, sweep it up under the rug. He ain't
and because I'm a man, we don't tell on.
Right. And then even with, I want to backtrack a little bit on, far as waiting. I come from a generation of, we grown, we can do what we want, we're going to do it anyway, so why wait? That's the generation I come from. So it's like, even though I'm old school, I kind of believe in waiting.
You are how old?
33.
33.
Yeah.
Okay. So with 33, your generation taught you too, and not you know what I'm saying, the same values I've been taught too or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and you speak. That's why me and you just a lot because you're so mature and so you know what I'm saying above what people your age now are doing. You know what I'm saying.
And it's like, I'm still old school, I'm not going to lie, I still believe in, you should make them wait a little bit, you shouldn't give it out on the first night. But I'm not saying I've never had.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? On a drunk night from the club.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
So what do you speak up for me and Maurice? What you got to say about that?
Well, guys will love that drunk night.
Yeah. But it wasn't like, it wasn't like that particular night, but I would say maybe a couple of days I made the person wait, maybe 3 days or 4 days. Or
let's be clear and shit. We had a couple one night stands,
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you notice, we're still talking about almost like two different trains going in different directions. And so it's almost like the women are coming upstream and the guys are going downstream. And sometimes it looks like when and that really to me becomes more apparent when an orgasm has occurred. because a guy a lot of times is really going downhill full speed now, and she's just now almost like a firecracker getting sent up for the 4th of July displays. She's ready to start popping and getting excited, where the guy is like a dud at this point, and he's ready to pack up everything and go home.
Why is that?
Orgasms,
I'm sorry.
I know a lot of women who fake them because men don't last long
And men
enough
do
to
too.
even induce an orgasm.
Another level. See, there's
So-
levels to this.
Yeah.
There's levels to this. So now we're talking about everybody being pleased. Is what we're talking
Yeah.
about. So
It's
how
like you
can
get it or you don't. You know, you
Yeah.
get yours. And I know men is like a one-hitter quitter type of situation sometimes. But with women, it's like once is not enough sometimes for us.
change?
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's what I'm on, because I feel like I know myself or whatever, and that's why I spend a hard time or whatever with me just being sexually, you know what I'm saying, committed to a person or whatever, because, you know, let me just go on record, and I'm gonna say this because I have to be naked when I say this. My record is 10 in 4.2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Back to back to back. And so if a person can't even do me one,
Right.
oh yeah, then this probably ain't gonna happen again.
Right. Right.
So there was a sexual experience that occurred, and now both people are ready to get off of the mantle and no longer deal with each other. So here's this climax, which is the epitome of what the guys dream about and possibly even what the women dream about. So now that this experience has happened, the curtain has been raised up and nobody likes to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People that pay their money.
I'm glad you said that. But go ahead, keep going.
Everybody, we want our money back. We want our money back. You know, everybody's ready.
Right.
But it's like, speaking on nobody who wants to play, it's a lot of men out here who wants to just like hit it, quit it, like boom, bang, shebang, you know, it's over. You know what I mean? But it's a whole other situation. We want intimacy. As women.
Intimacy.
Right.
We talked about that before.
So, as women, we need that foreplay. We need you to build up to it because that will make us be able to have our explosion, our fireworks,
yes,
our orgasm
baby.
that we're wanting to have. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then a lot of women, I don't know if all women do. I think all women should have, you know, like toys. You know what I mean?
Yes,
but
Lord.
at the end of the day, I mean, with the toys, it's an artificial
Exactly.
I actually think,
excitation.
you know, it's funny you said toys. I think toys and social media destroy the relationship.
You know what? I'm gonna stop you right there because it's safe for me with the toys or whatever. Like everybody knows.
Don't talk about
my toys because look, toys to me, and I have every kind of vibrator there is pretty much. Okay, and they spent probably about $800 on the toys and sexual things that I have, and so here's the thing. With that toy or whatever, I like different sizes, the moisture, but I know that I can't get a disease from this motherfucking toy or whatever.
Another level.
And it's not it's not added bodies.
Exactly.
Message.
Yeah.
So that's another level. We're talking about diseases now.
Yeah.
And everybody in a particular area that has people never relocated, never moved, the same people from high school, maybe even middle school, are now 30s, 40s, 50s, and everybody is still in that area code, that county, and everybody's just like this.
Yeah.
You know, Willie Earl has been with Barbara Ann, and Barbara Ann has been with his brother, Jimmy, Bobby Jimmy, and it goes
Rookie
on.
Bobby.
Right.
So that's a whole nother.
And speaking of bodies, I have a question. For men, why is it that when you are, like when men sleep with women, it's okay to sleep with a whole lot of women. Oh, you a man, high five. You know, you done been around the block. You know, you got it out. You sold your royal oats or whatever. But for a woman, if she has been with more than a certain amount of men, I mean, I don't know what number it is, but if she's been with a certain amount of men, it's like, oh my God, you're a hoe.
Yeah.
You know, you taboo. You know, it's probably loose, or you know what I mean. You done been ran through. Why is it that is that way with women?
Well, it seemed like to me, like, because we say women want more out, if they want the mental stimulation.